We want to welcome everybody to our presentation today. This is Reversing Vitiligo from the Inside Out. I'm Jody Franklin along with Lisa Jackson. We're here to tell you all about how you can do this today. So we're so happy to have you all here. But I want you to focus up and get the most out of this class and silence the notifications on your phone. Don't fall prey to the myth of multitasking because we want you to get the most out of this presentation today, and definitely stick with us to the end because we're going to teach you not only how to stop the depigmentation, but really heal your skin from the inside out. So we're going to show you ways that you can do that. My name is Jody Franklin. As I mentioned, I had a terrible history of some skin issues, including when I turned about 25. I woke up one day with hives all over my body and went to a lot of different doctors to try to figure out what was going on. And it just persisted. I went on a lot of medications that were kind of dangerous. We'll talk about some of those a little later. And nothing was really helping. And this lasted actually 20 years. But as I was getting older, I was noticing there were specific triggers that made my skin worse. And this led me on kind of a rabbit hole chase of trying to figure out what I could do about it. And I noticed that my skin was getting a little better as I was making interventions and researching further. So actually, what happened is I went back to school and studied both nutrition and functional medicine. And now, fast forward, I work with people with all kinds of skin issues. And about a decade ago, a woman came to me with vitiligo, and I had never worked with it before, but I was able to help her repigment her skin. And she posted it on Facebook, her progress, and all of a sudden, I had people worldwide coming to me with vitiligo. So many people, I couldn't keep up with it. So I reached out to Lisa, who actually has vitiligo. She's also a functional practitioner, and in reaching out to her, we put together a program where we've helped hundreds of people overcome vitiligo. So I'll let Lisa introduce herself.
So I was diagnosed at age 30 with vitiligo. I was told there's nothing you can do about it. I was married to a physician. We went to the dermatologist. I had vitiligo for 20 years. Um, and a lot of embarrassing moments. My boss used to tell me I just didn't have good hygiene on my hands. If I just washed my hands better, that it was a fungus, and it was poor hygiene. I used to wear a lot of makeup to cover up around my lips and my eyes and my elbows and my hands, uh, and shied away from the sun, wore a lot of sunscreen, which we might touch a little bit on today. And it wasn't until my daughter was diagnosed with cancer, the same cancer that took a 19-year-old boyfriend and her mother-in-law, my mother-in-law, her grandmother, 35 years earlier, and they wanted to give her the same chemotherapy. And I thought, at 5'10" and 110 pounds, living in Detroit, we need to look at some alternatives, or at least give her some armor. And so we actually went to an integrative program, and not only did she get a clean PET scan, but my vitiligo for the first time started to go in remission by doing a lot of the things that we teach in our program. Changing the diet, working on toxicity, looking at a root cause functional medicine approach, and I was hooked. Like Jody, got my certification in functional medicine and health coaching, in functional diagnostic nutrition. I'm a retired registered nurse, so I had worked in all areas, and I know the pros and cons of conventional treatment as well as an integrative approach, which is what we do here. I really made a pact with my higher power that help heal my daughter, and I will spread the word. So we are very passionate, Jody and I, about and committed to helping you live your best life and recover from this
I
chronic disease.
also I also want to say that not only is Lisa in remission from her vitiligo, but I am also in full remission from my urticaria. My acne went away. I mean, I'm in better health now at age 60 than I was in my 20s. It's just amazing what the healing can do. And I know Lisa feels that way as well.
Right. So I've been in remission about 15 years. And not only did my vitiligo go in remission, but my eyesight improved so much I got rid of my bifocals. I couldn't see to read or drive. My high cholesterol, hypertension, sleep issues, anxiety, all these things improve.
Wonderful.
So
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Well, today we're going to talk about the things that are destroying your skin. And there definitely are topical creams we're going to discuss and all kinds of therapies that don't really address the root causes, unfortunately, don't work in the long run. They don't, and there's issues with being on these medications in the long term. We're also going to talk about some foods and toxins that can really damage your skin, as well as hidden stressors that create autoimmunity. So before we go on, I'd like to show you, whoops, a little video testimonial from some of our participants. You're going to hear from some of them later.
My son was being made fun of at school. I didn't even want him to go to school. His head would fall on online school. He couldn't hold his head up. He said he had a tummy ache. He said he was tired. He actually was even urinating on himself. He had no control over his bladder. I mean, and he had nightmares at night.
I know you've had vitiligo since you were a kid, right?
Well, the first time I saw it, I was about 20. And when I went to see the doctor about it, they had no answers.
She seemed very sick before the program, and she had no energy, was not gaining weight, was not growing.
What's happened to our son in the last, gosh, I don't know, 16, 18 months is unbelievable. We've really repigmented a lot. We have a little bit to go on the eyes, and I just wake up every day and there's more pigment. It's just amazing.
I have brown dots in places that I thought would never repigmentate around my face. When I took the pictures, all of this was white, and all this is filled in. And so now I'm like even a little more comfortable, because you notice I don't have any makeup around the eyes.
Since then, she's just like a happy 11-year-old, almost 12 years old, and she is just putting on some weight. She was depigmenting before rapidly, and now it has stopped, and she's probably gotten about 50% of her pigmentation back. It's been really life transforming, not just for her, but for the entire family. We learned so much about diet, nutrition. It really was hard for me, especially being her mom, when I first started noticing and got the diagnosis that she had vitiligo. But really, if I look at it in all perspective, it really has been a blessing for us. So I've learned so much myself on brand to avoid supplements. Annika has been improving so much more. She is like, completely different child. I feel like this is just the beginning, that she's gonna get to a place where, and not only is she gonna repigment completely, but that it's gonna teach her to be a healthier person for the rest of her life. It's been amazing. It really has been life transforming for the entire family. We're very thankful for the entire group.
And that helps with the anxiety of the vitiligo, trying to accept it to some degree, and just like, it is what it is, and still try to heal it. I think that's the best part, that some healing is taking place, and you're just not walking around sick.
This program to me was so incredibly important and life changing, because I feel that if we would have not been educated by you all, we would have been, continued being diagnosed and not given the right proper treatment.
Nobody does it this way. I'm not kidding. I think you two are the only two in the world. I would hazard that bet and guessed that this is the only program that is stepwise. I can't even believe how much it's changed my family and my friends, because now I tell them about it. So it's a real win-win, but you have to be ready, because it will take time. There's homework, but I really believed, because Jody and Lisa made me believe, and I believe them because they're great, that there was a way to put this condition in remission. You don't want anything to bring the pigment back, but the healing from the inside.
Okay, so that was some of our participants in our program. We just wanted to let you take a look at that. Okay, and then so this is one more participant I'll just show you quickly. This is Bruce. Came to me at a real low point in his life, and you could see in the top left the before. He had both hyperpigmentation and depigmentation, and going through our program, he got 50% of his pigment back. And then he reached out to me more recently, and he told me he has 80% of his pigment back. And this is great, because he's, now in his late 50s. And some people think, well, once you've had vitiligo so long, there's no hope. And we have older participants that definitely get pigment back as well. The other thing is I want to go through today what you may have tried before. And we mentioned the topical creams, the steroids, and the light therapy. So let's talk a little bit about the topical creams first. So I want to mention Protopic because a lot of you come to me and say, hey, I'm on the tacrolimus, I'm on this topical treatment. And, you know, while it can give you some pigment back for some people, not everybody, but it does work for some people, there is a black box warning on this medication for cancer, both malignancies and lymphoma. It is not recommended for long-term use. And the problem is if you stop using it, you're going to lose pigment. So it's not necessarily a great option for most people. And the funny thing is that on the label, it also says is contraindicated for immunocompromised patients. Well, guess what? People with vitiligo are immunocompromised. So it just seems like it's contraindicated for everybody that's on it. And of course, there's common reactions to this medication. Oh, Lisa, you are muted.
Thank you. I'm very passionate about this medication because I worked for the Center for Cancer for Blood Disorders for a couple of years where we did the clinical trials for these JAK2 inhibitors. And so I've seen firsthand some of the serious side effects. And I certainly wouldn't want this for children and or adults. And I think we always have to look at the risk versus the reward of whatever we're doing to our bodies. So it lowers the immune system's ability to fight infections and even bringing serious infections like tuberculosis back, as well as bacterial, fungal, and viral. It increases the cancer risk. So a lot of this is a immunotherapy that is a cancer drug that we're now repurposing for vitiligo. There's an increased risk of heart attack, stroke, and other major cardiovascular events. Blood clots that we are actually seeing an increase in the last few years anyway. It can also potentiate an increase deep vein thrombosis or pulmonary embolisms where blood clots go to the lungs. And that can be a precursor to even strokes and heart attacks. Low blood counts is very common with chemotherapy. So it lowers the level of platelets and white blood cells and red blood cells. So that affects your ability to clot, to iron deficiency anemia, as well as increase in bruising, tiredness, and increased risk of infections. And then steroids. You know, steroids are immunosuppressants, so they lower the immune system, so some of the symptoms can go away. And it may be an adjuvant therapy while we're doing all of the work to heal from within. We don't ever recommend these to be the cure-all or the only reason because of the side effects. Osteoporosis, it can lead to bone thinning and fractures, and definitely witness this in my practice. Weight gain, fluid retention, hypertension, high blood pressure, GI issues. And everyone with autoimmune diseases already has gastrointestinal issues with or without symptoms, but leaky gut intestinal permeability is a root cause of autoimmunity, and these, of course, are a big potentiator for these. Mood and mental health changes. We've seen such a plethora of anxiety and depression, mood swings in the last few years, and almost like an epidemic. High blood sugar, which of course not only triggers diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancers, and we're mentioning this because autoimmunity and cancers are really both sides of a similar immune dysregulation. Adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are what gets us up in the morning and helps us deal with stress, and it disrupts the natural cortisol production. We need cortisol to feel good, to have our drive, and over a long term, that can lower that production until we get chronic fatigue. We don't even want to get out of bed in the morning. Eye problems, increased risk of both cataracts and glaucoma, also on the rise. It delays wound healing and increases complications, and it lowers melanocyte stimulating hormone. And this is a hormone that makes vitiligo worse when you don't have it, because we want to stimulate our melanocytes, the melanin, which is the pigment in the skin.
Yes, we've had people come to us that are on this drug and it's made them worse. So it's really it's a rough combination of things that can happen with when you take that drug. Okay, so let's talk about light therapy. A lot of you maybe have tried the UVB narrowband, which actually works quite well for repigmenting the skin. But the problem is it does not address the root cause, nor do any of the things that Lisa mentioned either. So you can do it, but when you stop doing the light therapy, your skin is just going to depigment again. It can also be a risk factor for certain skin cancers. It can cause burning and pain and dryness and blistering to the skin cells, eye damage, and it does age your skin overall. So we actually recommend in our program that you do not do the light therapy until you start to repigment naturally. And then you can use the light light therapy to finish off your repigmentation. And then when you stop the therapy, the pigmentation will stay and it won't go away at that point.
And you don't have to, because I haven't used any of those in
Yeah,
my life.
Lisa hasn't had to do any, and most of the people in our program do not opt for the light therapy. They like to see their skin repigmenting naturally. But let's talk about what really causes vitiligo. And we can narrow it down to three things, really, three categories. And the first is basically food choices that aren't so good, and toxins is the second one, and then stress. So let's discuss those.
So we're going to talk about some skin damaging foods, some healthy foods that might surprise you, because there's so much misinformation and marketing about what's healthy and what's not. You know, there's a lot of yogurt is good for you, right? Many of them are adulterated and they are full of sugars and artificial colorings and flavorings. So just because it says it's healthy on the label, it doesn't necessarily mean that. And we go through this in a deep dive in our program. Hydroquinones. These are found in blueberries. Blueberries is a health food, right? It's high in antioxidants. It's very good for you, but it also can lighten the skin. So we recommend limiting the amount of blueberries. Does that mean I can never have a blueberry or anything with blueberry in it? No, but the more, if we're just feasting on these on a daily basis, that may be a contributor. The same with like turmeric, curcumin, very healthy herbs that are anti-carcinogens, but at high doses, and they were often very much recommended in other vitiligo programs, but we found in high doses they turn to be pro-oxidant, meaning they cause more oxidative stress. And that's really one big precursor to our skin issues is oxidative stress. So oxalates, you may have heard a lot about this or not in a lot of superfoods. Kale, collards can be high in oxalates if we're sensitive to it. You'll hear me say a lot that the dose is either the medicine or the poison. So we can go overboard. And food is also very bio-individual on what works for one may not for the other. And so we help you understand and recognize what's the right diet for you. Genetically modified organisms, GMOs, have taken superfoods like the staff of life, wheat, which was once called the staff of life, and adulterated it, and our corn and our soy and our wheat are all heavily genetically modified or sprayed with glyphosate. So this damages the gut lining, leads us to gastrointestinal problems and autoimmunity. Phytates are the anti-nutrients that are found in seeds and nuts, which are very healthy for us, right? But how we prepare them, how we eat them does matter. So one of our big bonuses is teaching you really how to eat and use these superfoods. Allergens. Jody mentioned that when we heal vitiligo, we heal asthma and allergies, and that we help you uncover many of the allergens that are found in food. Food allergies can do everything from stimulate autoimmunity to cardiac arrhythmias. Really fascinating how food is medicine or the poison. Food dyes. It's been in the news lately how finally, years later, the FDA is getting rid of, I think it's red dye 40. But what about red dye 3? All the other red dyes and the blue dyes and the yellow dyes that really over 40 years ago put my son on a Feingold diet to get rid of his ADHD, which we got rid of the food colorings. The food colorings really affect the brain. They also affect the skin. And heavy metals. Heavy metals is a huge trigger, and it's not only in the food, it's in our air, it's in our water, and we give you resources to address all of these things so that you're not only going to help heal from vitiligo, but you will live younger longer and have overall general health.
And speaking of the environment, there are so many toxins that can destroy your pigment. You can see some pictures on the right, everything from sunscreen to cleaning products, things that you sometimes don't even expect, like touching a register receipt can be a trigger. But we teach all this to you in the program, and I want to talk about fragrance, because fragrance really is a trade secret for so many companies, these cosmetic companies, and that make so many of our products and in personal care and household products. There are actually hundreds of hidden dangerous chemicals in this under the term fragrance. They can hide and not disclose what these ingredients are. And one of the most common ingredients in fragrance is phthalates. And phthalates are actually linked to birth defects, cancer, autism, ADHD, and just all kinds of oxidative damage, which is what causes vitiligo. So these household products and personal care products, even things like dryer sheets and deodorants, they contain the phthalates that are hormone disruptors. So guess what? Melanocyte stimulating hormone is a hormone. That's one of the hormones that it can disrupt, and it can disrupt the sex hormones also. So we get all kinds of problems when we mess with the hormones. Hormones control so much of the immune system. So things like that Lisa mentioned earlier, the adrenal glands, the secretions from them can really affect how well you heal. We also look at parabens. This is another hormone disruptor, and it actually mimics estrogen. So it can definitely cause skin issues and cancer. And then we also look at PEGs. Now, these are polyethylene glycols. They are petroleum byproducts. So the petroleum industry didn't know what to do with all this extra PEGs, and now they put them in cosmetics. It makes your lotions nice and slick. It makes your sunscreen nice and slick. It goes on nice and smooth. But it affects the livers and kidneys. And these are our detox pathways. That contaminates them. And if you can't detox properly, you're going to wind up with autoimmune activation like vitiligo. Another big category is rubbers. Actually, there's a one called 4-tertiary butyl catechol, or 4-TBC. And this mimics tyrosine, which is a building block for your melanocytes, for your skin cells. So we had a factory that the workers were wearing rubber gloves, a certain type of rubber glove, and so many of them wound up with vitiligo on their hands. So it's like a real chemically induced vitiligo, and a body burden of these rubbers is not a good thing. And a lot of people have detox pathways blocked because of other chemicals. So we have to look at that and determine what's going on. You also have to look at sodium lauryl sulfates, or SLS. These are foaming agents. When your kid's taking a bubble bath, they're soaking in SLS. Their shampoos and pump soaps and all kinds of things. This has long-term retention in the tissues. It can cause skin and eye damage, and even hair loss. A lot of people say their hair is thinning out. This can be a cause, and including issues with eye development in children. I also look at DEA, which is rough. It's bad for brain development in fetuses, and reacts with other ingredients to cause major oxidative damage, which can lead to cancer and autoimmune diseases. I also like to point out glycols. These are hormone disruptors. They cause neurotoxicity, liver and kidney damage, cancer. These are things, again, that are in so many of our products that we use day to day. And people don't realize what they put on their skin matters mightily. It gets into your bloodstream without the benefit of your liver filtering out the toxins. So unfortunately, a lot of these toxins act together to make things worse when you mix them up. And then, we also look at things like BPA and things like that. But I want to mention also mineral oil, because this stuff coats the skin like plastic. It's found in a lot of cosmetics and lotions and things like that. And your skin, it forms a barrier where your skin can no longer release toxins, and it disrupts the skin's natural defenses. Talc is another one. This is in the asbestos family, and we're putting it on our skin. So this causes oxidative damage and cancer. It's toxic to inhale this stuff. And then we also look at BHT, BHA. These are in cosmetics. Another immune toxin, another endocrine disruptor, it's a hormone disruptor, reproductive and respiratory toxins. So we look at all these things to try to help you basically detoxify, but not only just avoiding these toxins, but what can we do to get the body burden of these toxins out of your system? And that's really important, because if you try doing some kind of detoxification, you put your skin at further risk if you do it too aggressively. So we show you how to do this in a way that you're moving forward and getting the toxins out while, getting your skin pigment back. So lots of ways to do this, and it's very targeted the way we take care of getting rid of your body burden of these toxins.
And then there's the more hidden stressors, our mental emotional stressors. The body follows the mind. The body is always listening, even how we look and think about our vitiligo. Jody said in the beginning, Lisa has vitiligo. I'd like to think that I was diagnosed with vitiligo. It doesn't own me. It doesn't define me. And my vitiligo is actually kind of a gift, because when I do not prioritize my health and I don't follow our own advice, I don't walk the walk, the skin is a loud, live message for change. So the body is always giving us clues for what we need, and we teach you how to listen and how to make transformational change. So our thoughts, our mental, emotional is very important, the status when we are in the healing mode. And then there's also physiological stressors that we go deep in with our program, like an overgrowth of potentially pathogenic bacteria in our gastrointestinal tract, other pathogens, viruses, overgrowths that are hidden that we may not even be aware of.
Yep. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about better alternatives to use now in order to heal your skin. So we have actually a multifaceted approach with very personalized nutrition. So not only do we tell you to, cut back on the blueberries and things that are damaging your skin and some of the dyes and things like that, but it's very personalized on what actually helps to heal your skin. And we actually have very targeted medical grade supplements. These are not the kind of supplements that you're going to find at the box stores. These are really medical grade that are third party tested for purity and for accuracy and for toxins, because a lot of the supplements do contain things like mercury and aluminum and different toxins. So we want to make sure that they're toxin free and that they work specifically for vitiligo to help improve everything from digestion and absorption of nutrients to actually nutrients themselves. So it's very precision medicine, basically. We also have a tailored gut healing protocol. So we show you how to basically make sure your digestion and absorption is optimized so that you're getting it's not just what you eat, but it's what you digest, absorb, and get into your cells. And about 2/3 of your immune system actually resides in the gut. So it's really important, even if you don't have any gut symptoms, that you are actually addressing your gut health. So we go through all kinds of things to heal the gut and repair and give it what it needs to flourish. So your immune system is balanced. And then we also have assessment and remediation for all those toxins that we talked about. And there are dozens more that we go through with you in the program. This obviously a short presentation. We don't have time to go through everything with you, but we would give you that kind of assessment and remediation if you would like to join us in our program. We also give you empowering support for transformational change. And this is so important. My friend James Maskell wrote a book called Heal Community, if any of you want to read it. And he talks about how people actually heal about 80% better in a group than they do on individual sessions with a practitioner. So that's part of our culture here at Vanishing Vitiligo is we all support each other and lift each other and virtual hug each other when you're having a rough time. And so it really helps to ensure that everybody's getting good results in the program and when we heal together.
And the bad news is once you have one autoimmune disease, you are many times more likely to get another. And we often help people, number one, uncover other autoimmunity that they've been suffering with, or people come with us with other autoimmune diseases. Autoimmune thyroiditis or Hashimoto's or Graves are very common. I think they may predispose some, and we can often help people heal naturally from.
Yeah, in fact, about 20% or maybe even 25% of our participants, we uncover autoimmune thyroid. And in many others, we uncover other autoimmune activation within our program. So it's very unfortunate. Sometimes we'll have people coming to us with 4 or 5 autoimmune diseases, and it gets harder once you get one. It's like, I think it's something like an 80% increase in your risk of getting another. So
the Vanishing Vitiligo method that we're going to share with you today, it includes group practitioner sessions twice a month. We also have an optional for one-to-one. We also have customized nutrition and supplements that are available for everyone at a nice discount. As Jody said, we support you with lifestyle modifications so that you live healthier much longer and address all the other hidden stressors. And we have a Vitiligo Answer Vault, which is our private portal that is managed by our whole team. And our team has been growing as our program has grown. We have 2 medical doctors, we have 2 nurse practitioners, we have health coaches, we have masters in certified nutrition, all of us who work together to make sure your questions are answered 24/7 in a group portal.
I want to talk to you about another participant. This is Cheyenne's testimony here, but it wasn't until she found Vivi that they were able to really zone in what's possible. They were kind of trying to do a lot on their own in terms of healthy diet, making lifestyle changes, trying to research a lot on their own. And going through our program made a huge difference for them. And she really felt like her daughter was restored to her full vitality. So in terms of vitiligo, I mean, there's a lot of stressors. We talked about the wrong foods, the nutrient deficiencies. Maybe what's going on in your gut is preventing you from absorbing the nutrients. Maybe you don't have the most nutrient dense diet. So these are things that we work on. Any GI issues, even if you're asymptomatic. Stress and emotional and physiological stress and emotional stress that Lisa was discussing earlier. Viruses can be a big trigger for vitiligo. Some of you may have had the experience of getting a COVID booster or something that may have triggered more onset of your vitiligo, or maybe you got COVID. Either one can sort of be a trigger for vitiligo getting worse. And then things like mold and heavy metals and environmental toxins that we were talking about earlier, these are huge triggers for vitiligo. So these are things that we help you identify and take care of. And then this is Erin who came to me. People get so healthy in the program. Sometimes things unexpected happen. She was actually having trouble getting pregnant. And as we worked together after 6 months, she actually got pregnant and that happens a lot in our program. Unfortunately, we joke there's something in the water with our program because people tend to get healthy. And we ask them, wait till you're completely healed to get pregnant because then the baby will be healthier too. But anyway, she said it was the best decision she ever made in her life. And after about 6 months on the protocol, she started to see her skin repigment rapidly. And just so many other things helped. Her digestive issue clear up, her acne cleared up. She was getting better sleep, her mood improved. Everything got better when she started addressing her health issues. And here's another client that I worked with early on. He had vitiligo, and the family realized in working with us that they were making some changes they were doing some habits that weren't conducive to healing vitiligo. And as the mom learned, she had the whole family embrace the principles in our program. And her other son's ADD actually reversed completely going through our program. So we find asthma, allergies, ADD, other autoimmune activity tends to go away as we're working out the program. But you can see how her son is in complete remission now. He was only 4 years old when he started with us, and he's a healthy kid now.
So this is a woman I also had the privilege of working with, beautiful women. And some of the myths are, number one, it's impossible to put in remission. It's impossible to repigment, and particularly fingers, toes, where the circulation is a little less, can be hard to repigment. This is, yes, it can take a little longer, but you can see from these photos that she did repigment. She also released excess weight. Her digestive issues went away. And improved mood and improved sleep. And these are the things that happen typically right away. We improve your sleep, your mood, your digestive issues prior to repigmenting even the most difficult areas like the fingers. And we're going to introduce you to Ketan, who is Zubin's mother today, but she wrote a beautiful testimonial that we like to share, that you will never find such committed practitioners, such cutting edge and up-to-date science and knowledge on how to tackle and manage this condition as you will within the VB program. And she's a lot of discusses her 7-year-old son, but she has had looked really all over the world. Both she and her husband have medical backgrounds. They've looked in Europe, Asia, North America. They live in Africa, now in Nairobi, grew up in the United States, and we're going to introduce her next. So you can ask her live questions as well as Amy, who's in our program as we speak. So we treat all ages, all ethnicities, as I said, and people all over the world. But we thought for today's webinar, it'd be nice not just to hear from us, but to hear from Amy and Ketan. So if you all would like to
Turn on your cameras and unmute if you want. Hi there. So
Hello.
I just want to, hello, it's so great to see you guys. So I want to just ask really quickly, if you could summarize, we want to keep it a little short, but just what brought you both to our program? Amy, why don't you go first and just say why you came to us?
Sure. I was actually diagnosed with vitiligo a year ago after a trip to Florida. And I am very familiar with vitiligo, as my parents, actually specifically my mother, who's 78, has had vitiligo since she was 16. So I'm very comfortable with it. However, very unexpectedly found out that I had vitiligo. And I just became discouraged. Meeting with many medical providers just on what they were telling me. And, they wanted to give me medications and really no real solutions to the problem. I had a few other medical things going on at the time, and I just did my own research to find the Vanishing Vitiligo program. I'm a physical therapist. I've been a physical therapist for 22 years and have dove into lots of medical things. So this was up my alley to find and determine out more to be able to do. And then also to be able to, just provide different signs of wellness and things like that I could for my family and loved ones. It's really been a blessing to be able to give knowledge to my family and children. For myself, I've had significant improvements with my skin and acne. I had small bumps on my arms and legs, and that's subsided completely. I think I've lost, 5 or 8 pounds probably. And then, also my knowledge that I've gained, but I didn't really realize that I had some issues with my gut. I really felt good most of the time, but I have noticed some improvements in that area as well. And then I had issues with hormones and different things like that. And I would say there's been some improvements for mood changes that I've seen.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. And
Mm.
you've just been in the program 6 months now, right, Amy? Not too
I
long.
joined in July last year.
Oh, so it's been a
It's
little
been a
longer.
little bit over. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Over.
that's fantastic. That's wonderful. How about you, Kaitan? What originally brought you to the program? I know you were looking around quite a bit and you're trying some
Oh,
interventions.
well, it was the perfect storm. It was COVID, and we were in Nairobi, and we couldn't leave Nairobi. The airport was closed, so there was no way to like get anywhere. And so I actually wrote down. We started with what I could do at a distance, which was a little bit of homeopathy, which basically, when we went on vacation or didn't take the medicine with us, more spots came. Eventually, when we got to America, we met a dermatologist who had quite a reputation in Detroit, Michigan, where my parents live. And he said, tacrolimus and UVB are going to sort you. And it did sort us until we stopped. And then suddenly, a whole storm of new white spots, probably even worse. I felt like things picked up after using that type of treatment. Then I tried Chinese herbs and I practiced Chinese medicine. So I found a really, really amazing herbalist who I spent a lot of time on the phone with, and I really believed he could help us. But you really need to take pulses, you need Chinese diagnosis, you need good quality herbs. But there was no dietary change. So here we were trying to help my son. Maybe he had a little bit of relief, but again, new spots by almost the day, either old ones growing or new ones coming up. Then what did we do here? We did bioresonance and Ayurveda in Nairobi. And bioresonance was interesting because it found a lot of things that Zubin had, and which this program has also helped us discover. But there was no dietary change. So you can't, if you don't change what goes in, how are you going to see a difference in what comes out? So this is why I love what you've called this particular get together. And then the Ayurveda was like, grind up some curry leaves and, pour some black seed oil over it and chew it for 100 chews. I mean, my son was 7 years old. I don't think you could even convince me to do that. It was very, very hard. And he said, look, I don't really treat vitiligo, but I'll try and help you. I mean, we just weren't getting anywhere. And there was a functional medicine nutritionist here in Nairobi who said, you need to connect with this group. And so, COVID was kind of ending. And then, Jody and I had a discovery call, Lisa and I had a discovery call, and it all just made sense. It made sense to be in a group setting, which is amazing because we were in a funnel and a tunnel that was so lonely and so scary. I mean, when I think back to those days, I don't even know how I came through it without all my hair falling out. It was so scary. So being a part of the Vitiligo group allowed us to be a part of this wonderful community of other individuals and families who have vitiligo. So you have these lovely group sessions where we all get to talk and share what's going on in our lives and our challenges and our wins. There are these awesome modules that you get to self-paced learn so that you can support your family member or yourself if you're the one who has the vitiligo. There's a portal, there's a space where you can email each other, say, hey, what's a good sun cream? Hey, what should we do here? What should we do there? And so it's just great. I mean, because we're all around the world, somebody inevitably responds at any hour of the day. So this just makes me really happy because I'm out 8 hours ahead of, of the US. So, I often get an answer from someone in Europe or somebody in India or, like, it's really neat to feel so connected to people you would have never been connected to if you hadn't been in this program. And really, we do represent the world.
Hey, can I ask you, can I interrupt for a second? I
Yeah.
know that your son Zubin, he was it was really affecting him emotionally. You talked, we played the video earlier of how he was wetting his bed and things like that. But
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that he was hiding behind your leg. And
Yes.
just tell me about the difference in how he's changed since that time and what it was like before and after.
Yeah, I mean, he was hiding. He didn't want to wear shorts. He was afraid to show himself. He kind of wanted to wear as much covering him as possible, a hoodie that went all the way around him like this. And now, I mean, he'll wear anything. I mean, he'll wear sleeveless, and he doesn't have spots on his shoulders, but his elbows, his knees, his ankles, everything is repigmenting, but those are the areas that were affected. So now, I mean, he'll walk in front of me, he'll walk up to people. We've met a few people with vitiligo, and he'll be like, talk to my mom. We can tell you what we're doing. It's working. I feel better. Like he's become a bit of a, just a bit of a poster, program supporter of what's going on. And if we hadn't done it, we wouldn't have learned more about different ways to eat, different ways to think about dessert, different ways to think about, what goes on our plate. And it really is a ripple effect. It started with our son, but it's really, like rippling out to the entire family. So it's just a massive upgrade in life, basically, lifestyle and diet. So
And I know
we're
you, and
so
I know not
grateful.
just the diet for you, but some of the environmental things were issues for him as well. So I'm glad that
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, you
he's
remember
also
you
onto
used to
that.
bring up, a lot of his issues, as case study because he had so many. He had like everything that you mentioned for the drivers. So, we've made so much progress and dialed down the volume on so much of that stuff that it's almost hard to think and talk about the old days because
Yeah.
I feel so far from them, and I'm not even that person anymore. It's changed me.
That's so wonderful. And I know you've actually not taken this to an entirely new level and are studying functional medicine yourself. So I
Yeah,
look forward to the
yeah.
day we have you on the Vanishing Vitiligo team officially
That's
as
right.
well.
That's
So
right.
that would be great.
A couple more years. Got to
It's
take
a
my
3-year
tests. And
program. Yeah, it's
that's
a
right.
lot of
That's right. I'll
schooling.
get there, but I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. And
Amy,
it
we got to
really
get
is.
you along here too
Yeah,
with your medical background. But
right.
any parting thoughts, Amy? Anything else you want to add to that? And we'll keep them on till the end if any of you have any questions for our panelists too.
Yeah, I agree with what Ketan is saying with everything. There's just so much that was offered and put out, and I really just felt like it was such a warm welcome for you to be guided through the program of their info that they put out there for you. In a, for me personally, I was able to go cold turkey and make the changes, but for some people it could be much more challenging, and I just felt like the environment was just warm and welcoming throughout the entire process. Whether I had a question here or there, or just wanted some other information, or even the modules that they have. I think I've listened to some of them 5 times. Just to be able to go through and be able to have that information available has been just wonderful.
That's great. Well, I want to thank you two both so much for coming on and sharing your stories because it can be such an inspiration to so many out there. But stay with us if you could. If you guys want to turn your cameras off, and I'll have you come on in the end and we'll have a Q&A session for anyone else interested in that. But let me go ahead and share the rest of the slides here. We're almost done. But let's talk about, let's see. It's not going to switch now. Bear with me for just a sec. There we go. So really reversing vitiligo is our specialty. The impossible, I guess, when you're told once you get vitiligo, you have it for life. And that's just not the truth. But we want to introduce to you the Vanishing Vitiligo Blueprint program. And we'll tell you a little more about that. But the why behind this program is that we talked about if you don't address the root causes, you're much more likely to get another autoimmune disease. You're much more likely to continue to progress with your vitiligo. And, Lisa and I are booked out. Our teams are booked out. Our calendars are booked out. But now through this group program, you can access us. And we get messages like what's on the right all the time. This was my first vitiligo client just telling me how fortunate she was to find me. She was crying when she was getting her pigment back. It had affected her deeply emotionally. And I remember when she first started getting pigment back, she called me and she just was crying so hard she couldn't even talk because it just had affected her life so much. She had darker skin and she was had vitiligo since she was 8 years old. And to get her pigment back was just so amazing for her, such an amazing experience.
So what is the Vitiligo Blueprint? Really, we're offering expert guidance in twice a month group sessions with certified functional medicine practitioners in a supportive community. So either Jody or I lead this with other members of our team. We have a comprehensive learning resource. This is a library of pre-recorded webinars that help you learn to get educated, to understand what your triggers are and the root causes, and that you can learn at your own pace. And as Amy said, she's listened to them over and over again because repetition is what really creates a transformational change. And we also include a private portal where you can safely ask your questions, as Ketan said, 24/7. It's our Vitiligo answer vault, and not only do the other members that have been in the program for a while give you their answers, but our team we have a fabulous team answer the questions as well, and then customized nutrition and medical grade supplement regimen that you have access to get going, that we have really learned how to expedite results and address a lot of these hidden stressors, particularly nutritional insufficiencies and maldigestion and malabsorption of nutrients in the gut. So we can help you get started right away. And I think this is priceless, but we have put it at over a $7,600 value. And we have bonuses on top of that. So the Kickstart to Wellness is for 21 days, you get small, simple bites of solutions so that it's not overwhelming. Change that's going to be transformational, that takes time, needs to be fed. We need to feed it to you slowly. So you get a 21-day journey to get you kick-started with daily inspiration and education. We don't recommend dietary changes, and we don't recommend taking something out of your diet without giving you some decadent, delicious, nutritious alternatives. So most of us have never learned how to plan, shop, and cook, or how to get access to healthy food. So we give you all kinds of resources, whether you cook or not. You get a step-by-step guidebook. You get over 100 very super simple, delicious recipes that even your children can get involved with to make, because that's a really important skill. I have had many clients who that has just turned their health around, just this 21-day program alone. And again, you get a daily email with a little short video and handouts and worksheets and tips and motivational support. And then we have, Jody and I put together really a curated list of skin healing supportive supplements that support your own natural skin healing, targeting the major underlying root causes of vitiligo and helping to promote that healing that needs to happen before you can repigment. It's to promote the skin wellness, help the immune system, stress reduction, because stressors, as we talked about, are big precursors to vitiligo. And it's really important to get good sound sleep and create cellular regeneration. And sleep is becoming a bigger and bigger issue in today's high-speed world.
Mm-hmm. So we're also going to include as a bonus the Skin Vitality Nutrition Formula. And we're going to give you lists of foods and easy recipes, to Lisa's point, that make it easy for you to transition. We're going to give you inventory of foods to avoid and things to avoid in your home and in your lifestyle. We're going to teach you how to safely detoxify without depigmenting your skin, so your skin doesn't get worse, and uncover all these hidden stressors contributing to your vitiligo so you can heal your body from within. And this is Melissa. She's another participant. And I worked with her years ago. She actually had, if you look at the picture, her entire body pretty much was depigmented. And she was talking about how getting to the underlying issues, she was able to repigment even her largest spots and correct to so many of her different health issues as well.
So really, the question to ask yourself as you listen to this is, are you ready to invest in yourself? Because this is an investment of time and money, and you are worth it. And delaying treatment will significantly increase the risk of developing other autoimmune diseases, as we've said. It also will create further loss of pigment over time. I mean, Amy talked about her mother who had it from age 16 to 78. That really pulls at my heartstrings. I'd like to avoid that. And we've helped women in their 70s as well. It will prevent ongoing inflammation, which is very draining to your energy and impacts your overall, not only vitality, but the quality of life that you experience. And self-esteem often suffers. We avoid social situations. We want to hide. We're not our full confidence self. We're not living our best life.
Versus healing from within with root cause resolution, ensuring long-term healing and prevention of other autoimmune activation. We have a multifaceted approach, has positive side effects for your health. You're going to feel younger, look younger, and just feel lots more energy, and moods are better, etc. We're going to stop the depigmentation in its tracks and protect your skin from further loss of pigment, and also unlock the potential for repigmenting your skin, as you can see so many of our clients have done. But one thing we know is the future is chugging along. No matter what, you're heading towards the future. And whether your trajectory is going to be doing nothing and either staying the same or perhaps getting worse and worse over the years, you have different triggers that can make your disease worse. Or if you wanted to try working with us and addressing these root causes, your skin can heal and you're really gonna get to optimum health. So Lisa, do you want to explain the
So our program today is $8,000 for a year-long program, or $719 a month. But we really wanted to be able to help and support more people and make it more cost-effective for you. So we have created this Vitiligo Blueprint program that we're announcing for the first time publicly, and giving you an invitation to join us again with the live interactive group sessions, with the exclusive library of dozens of educational pre-recorded videos, the specialized supplements recommendations, and access to our supportive, engaged online community, and being able to connect with like-minded. So the cost is, if you want to pay for a year up front and save a little money, it's $2,499 for the year, for all of that included, or $259 a month. And better yet, it is really no commitment, no risk. So you can try us out for, you can have a 15-day trial. If you're still wondering if this is the right thing for you, we give you a 15-day risk-free guarantee where you can have access to the first 3 modules, which typically we recommend viewing a module 1 over every 2 weeks, but you can get the first 3 up front so you can really see all of the deep dive content that you're getting, and you'll have time to experience our world-class training, our support before making a final commitment. And you know, if you don't feel 100% confident, then with your progress, then of course reach out to us.
But wait, there's more. I just wanted to mention the bonus. This is a huge one. So we want to encourage you to get started with us. It's risk-free, as Lisa mentioned. If you don't love it, you can get a refund on the program. But for the first 15 people who register, we are going to give a free 60-minute lab analysis session with one of our functional medicine practitioners. This is a $499 value. So we are so confident that you're going to love our program. We're actually taking a loss on your program by offering this. But if you don't have labs from the past 2 years for analysis, we can facilitate getting some basic lab work for you at wholesale cost. So it's pretty inexpensive, probably under $100 or so. Or maybe if you want to get thyroid testing, maybe like $150 for all the lab work. Or you can go through your insurance and we can tell you which things to get. But this is complimentary for you, for any of you who want to take advantage of it. This is it's vanishingvitiligo.com/blueprint 2025. Lisa, I don't know if you could put that in the chat, or Katon, maybe you guys can help us out there, where you can grab that link. And you can also use that QR code on the top right. If you are watching the recording, we will also be offering for the first 15 people who register on the recording session to get this value as well. So we hope you decide to do it. And I believe this is going to be a very transformative year for you. You only live once, as far as we know, and let's get you to your optimum health. And we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts either way, and wish you the best of health. But I really hope that many of you take advantage of this. Sometimes the price has been a sticking point on our full program, where it's $719 a month. This is a great opportunity for you to get in for a very low price with a very, like, no commitment, basically. So we would love to have you join us. You can go to vanishingvitiligo.com/blueprint 2025. While we're on, I'd love to answer any questions. I'll keep this on the screen for a little bit while we're going through some of the questions here. But I know Charlene mentioned some of the top worst foods to avoid. I'd like to say that we talked about some of the ones that have, like blueberries and curcumin, can actually make vitiligo worse. But I would say having healthier oils is really important. So not to have the trans fat oils are probably the worst for oxidative damage. So this is the friolator foods that you want to avoid when you go to a restaurant. Restaurant oils tend to be pretty inflammatory. I would say a lot of the the foods that have preservatives and colors would be another one. So those are three that I would definitely avoid. And, Katon's even saying foods that aren't organic are important. We've learned that in the program. We tell you which foods have the most pesticides as well. So we have a list for you, lots of handouts in the program. So it makes it super easy. You can print things out, put them on your refrigerator, take them to the grocery store. We even have a whole grocery list that you can just bring with you. You can keep it on your phone. So it makes it super easy for you to follow. Christina is also asking about LDN. That's low dose naltrexone, and it is effective as an immune modulator. So we do like it, but I would say it's not a root cause resolution. So it's something that you can use in conjunction with the program that we offer. I wouldn't recommend it just LDN alone, because again, it's not addressing all those other things, and you're more likely to wind up with another autoimmune disease, unfortunately. Daryl, thanks for joining us from Auckland, 6 a.m. Woo. Nice that you got up for us. Any other questions? You guys can type them in. Do we have a question about the pricing of the program? A detailed list of prices per program. So the big difference between the two programs, is a great question, is the full program, our classic vitiligo program, which is vanishingvitiligo.com, actually has, I'll show you, see if I can bring us back there. Just bear with me for a second here. And that does include one-on-one sessions with our staff. Now, if you join on the program that we are talking about today, the Blueprint program, 3 months from now, you're going to get I'm doing a spoiler alert, but you're going to get an opportunity to upgrade and put all the money that you've put into the Blueprint program into this program. So it basically pays for the first month of the program. And it does include about 10 sessions one-on-one with a functional medicine practitioner, as well as lab interpretation. So it's a little different, but we really feel that the foundational part of our program is more important to get established before you go into any lab testing. So we really, for those of you who are really dying for the data and want to get into the lab testing and want the one-on-ones, and if you can afford the full program, I would say go for it. But for those of you who really, this may be your first opportunity meeting us, if you feel like you want to dip your toe in and see how it goes, we are doing this for the first time with no commitment. I mean, our program's a 12-month program, and there's a reason we offer it for 12 months. It really takes a long time to heal, and as you can see from Keitan's son, it's taken 16 months or 18 months to see dramatic change. He's seen it over time. Within a few months, he saw changes, but really to continue the healing process takes a while. And we do give you the opportunity to continue the program after the first 12 months for even less money. So there is an option to do that. I hope that makes sense. So this program is just going to include, and I think that it's going to include all the group sessions. So twice a month we meet live. These are always recorded if you can't attend a live session. And we're always going through the latest research and what else you can do to help heal your vitiligo. We get to hear other people's progress. It's really they're fun sessions. And then the library, these are the modules that Keitan was talking about, and Amy, where she's listened to it dozens of times, but yeah, or half a dozen times anyway. But this is a library of educational videos. So there's enough to do one a week, basically for the full year, but you're going to get access to 3 of them right away. So you can start in and take advantage of them. It might even be 4 right away. I have to look at that. But you also get the supplement recommendations, which are not specific. When you're doing the classic program, it's very specific to your lab results, but these are supplement recommendations that work really well for everyone with vitiligo. So we give you that at a special discount and access to our online community. That's that vault that we talked about, 24/7 help with your questions. You can look up, search previously asked questions. So there's always so much support that I think you're going to absolutely love it. And there's like I said, the first 15 people, if you want to go ahead and register, let us know in the chat if you've done it. We'd like to hear from you, but we will see on the list who are the first 15 people to take advantage of this. Shelley's asking, do we see more segmental or non-segmental vitiligo? And I would say we don't really differentiate between the two. I know that they do in the Western medical world. Vitiligo is vitiligo in our view. And, the causes can be a little different for each person, but the way it manifests on your skin doesn't matter. What matters is that we heal from within and see your skin heal from within. Lisa, do you have anything you want to add to that? Oh, Mark registered. Welcome. So looking forward to having you in the program. Lisa, do you have any questions?
Yeah,
Anything you want to add?
I was reading that, so I didn't hear the last question. I was reading the.
No, I was just saying we don't
doesn't
really
matter.
differentiate between the two. If anyone has questions for Keitan and Amy, let us know too. They can come on. If you guys want to turn your cameras on, you're welcome to do that and join us back again. But no, it doesn't matter if it's localized to one body area. It really doesn't. It's interesting. I remember having a client years ago that wore a mosquito necklace. He's a boy on his camping trip and had a big ring of vitiligo around his neck. That's how it started. And then it moved to other areas after. But certain things can trigger when you have a body burden of toxins. And just like something like an exposure to something might set you off. Sometimes people travel and they pick up a parasite, or they picked up a parasite anyway. Sometimes it's environmental toxins that they're exposed to. Air pollution is a big problem in a lot of countries. And I know Keitan is of Indian descent originally, and they have about 3 times the rate of vitiligo in India. So we have a lot of people of Indian descent, whether they're living in the US or Africa, like Keitan or wherever. It could be a bit more of a genetic predisposition, but I really think some of them have visited India multiple times, and it's sometimes they might have picked up a parasite. They might have it might be some of the pollution, the air pollution, and things like that in India. So it really depends what you're exposed to. And we've had some of our clients that visit their homeland and then come back with vitiligo a few weeks later. So it can definitely be some toxins triggering that. Any other questions? Anyone else? All right, Mark, we will definitely set up your first consultation. And I hope we have others that are just being shy today. I hope you do decide to take advantage of this. If there aren't any more questions, any parting thoughts from Amy or Keitan? Anything you would like to say?
I'll just say that this is the beginning of your journey for those of you who are here, but I'm still in the program, even though, you know, we don't need that much support because I kind of figured this all out, but I don't want to leave this community because it's so loving and so warm and so safe. And I mean, I don't know where we'd be today if it wasn't for this program, really. So I encourage all of you to, you know, to to jump on board with us. We have a good time together, and we heal together, which we know makes such a difference, you know, as opposed to doing it in your little, you know, in your little funnel tunnel.
Definitely. And I know this question here, if you've had it for 20 years, can you still repigment? And the answer is absolutely yes. We've had people who've had it 30, 40 years that are seeing repigmentation. Absolutely. Lisa herself said she had it for 20 years. Amy, any parting thoughts? Oh, you're muted, hon. You're muted.
I
Just not a Zoom
apologize.
meeting. That's
Right, I
okay.
apologize. I feel lucky to be in the program. I do feel that it is just a great environment. You know, you do have to be committed to what they suggest, and I do believe that it's helpful in so many ways. You know, not just in that skin appearance, but the whole body, internal and external, that really, you know, really can change for the better. And so I'm just appreciative of the group as well, and you know, looking forward to still seeing more pigmentation changes.
Wonderful. Thank you. And yes, this video should be going out to everybody. If you came in late and you want to see the whole video, we can get that out to everybody. If you can't, just ping me on Facebook or something. I can get it out to you. But thank you all so much for joining us. Make sure you grab the link before we go. And I hope you all decide to register for the program. We hope to see many of you in there. And thanks again to our panelists. And everybody take good care.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.